is not backing off. The moment you get used to saying, oh, I'll let that guy through the corner there, or I'll let him do that, you start to lose a bunch of seconds a lap. This sort of car needs driving with such gusto. You've got to keep up momentum. So you've got to go from corner to corner, carrying the most possible speed. So you don't always wait for the guy to make room or just be in the right place. You have to make him make room and be aggressive. That's the only way you can get these little cars to go.
And Oxo, there's been a lot of talk about Peter Brock having the nickname Peter Perfect. What about the racing lines of Emanuele Pirro? Is he the cleanest driver in the field?
I guess it's a bit of a mixture of metaphors here. Pirro, if we stay on him with these little cars, is using a common sense attitude. He's flashing the lights now. He's trying to draw attention. You see, he's making the guys aware of his presence. But he has still got to show initiative and force his way through. But if you look at the car, the way that the wheels are so fitted close into those mud guards, he can't really take a chance and touch a guard onto a tyre because he'll puncture a good rubber. And, you know, all these things have to be measured. So 3 races so far, he's done it 100% right. We've got to say he's pretty close to perfect.
What about that experience in Formula 1 racing?
Well, he's top at the moment, or should we say he's in the peak of his career in driving skills. He's come fresh from victory at Macau. He's got a lot going for him in touring cars. He looks set for, or looks destined for, a career in touring cars. It looks like his Formula 1 days may be through. So, very professional man.
Emanuele Pirro with the 3-Sport Castrol BMW M3, the Schnitzer team. Superb setup.
Drivers, whether they realise it or not, are probably starting to suffer perhaps not so much physical fatigue but mental fatigue, and it was encouraging to hear Pirro be very complimentary to the...
Firmly on what Nissan is doing with their car, and whatever they do controls a little bit of how he plays his game. Whether to keep the pace of the race up, we've had a few sensational laps from Emanuele Pirro. He's down under the 1:30 already, but I think he'd like to cruise it back to about a 1:32. It's nicer on the car.
What's been his quickest time, BL? You looked into what, a 1:28 and 1:26 in qualifying.
He's cruising at the moment at a 1:28.99, and that's not a bad pace, but the fastest man on the road is Mark Scaife at the moment. He's at 28.3, but what does look very impressive up on our screen here is Peter Brock's time at a 1:29.6, so despite the size of the Commodore, it's still very much on the case.
So we've got a real race on our hands with the BMW M3 out in front. Scaife trying to catch up and make up for lost time. Peter Brock, Tony Longhurst also very quick on the road too. Emanuele Pirro, fresh from success at the Macau Grand Prix last weekend in another BMW. He won 3 races in the Italian Touring Car Championships. So at this stage, he's 5 seconds in front of Tony Longhurst, who's currently riding second. But we're standing by for a pit report with John Carville, because the word is the Nissan GTR of Mark Scaife and Jimmy Richards may be coming back into the pits for the 3rd time. So far, this race has actually been the pits.
When he has to go around cars, he has to move off the dry line onto the damp line, and that's where the action could happen.
Still not too much pressure for the Winkelhock car at this stage, because Brock and Perkins back in 2nd place are 2 minutes behind, and they're getting ready for a pit change as well. And it's the Nissan also coming.
This BMW, of course, features a few more horsepower than last year's winning car, about 30 horsepower up. It also has the anti-lock braking system, which I guess would be a bit of a bonus in these sort of conditions. It would prevent the inevitable lock-up under greasy conditions, and certainly a huge benefit today. Just a more refined version of the previously successful models, this is probably the 4th generation of the M3 model, which has raced in this country. We're very lucky every year to have the Schnitzer team to come out from Europe and bring this Europeanization to the whole motorsport carnival that's become part of the Wellington Street Race, the Nissan Mobil 500.
Talking to Emanuele Pirro early. 3-Sport with Joachim Winkelhock waving the flag there. Was that the winner's flag? Stuck onto the aerial of that car. Coming down to the main straight, and it's the BMW M3 of the 3-Sport Castrol Schnitzer team that have had a superb record here in the Wellington Waterfront race, and that continues today as we count down to the finish of the great race. 10 minutes to go. Winkelhock out in front. They've got a 2-minute cushion, 2-minute 39 in fact, and they're almost a lap to 2 laps in front of Peter Brock back in second place in the Holden Commodore. Then it's a gap back to Denny Holm and Robbie Francevic. Robbie Francevic at the wheel of the BMW M3, followed by Richards and Scaife, now moving up into 4th place.
To Murray Walker calling Formula One races. It's never over until the fat lady sings or whatever it is.
It's been a wet fat lady today.
Well, it's certainly looking good. You certainly can't hold it away from them. But you only have to trip up over one of those little cars getting offline. Those little cars, they have the ability to move quickly, but sometimes they move the wrong way. That's why these Europeans have to be right on the case and be ready for any eventuality.
Joachim Winkelhock last year failed to finish, well, he finished 4th on the second of the 2 BMW Schnitzers last year. A little bit of trouble with Steve Soper, and in fact there's quite a bit of an interesting duel last year between Steve Soper in the number 2 car and Johnny Shikoto in the number 1 car. But this year Joachim Winkelhock getting the drive along with Emanuele Pirro and doing a very slick job.
Well, he had the misfortune to clout the car his car pretty badly at Macau a couple of weeks back, well, last weekend in fact. And he was in doubt for this event because of a strained wrist. But he's obviously a fitness person. He keeps his body in shape, and so with some good manipulation, some good exercises, his wrist is back certainly in working condition, and he probably is feeling it, but it's not showing to us.
It's full credit to some of the smaller cars too in today's race. It's been 400 and something odd kilometres of very, very interesting racing. And you look at through the top 20, and in 20th position we've got the little Nissan GTIR, and we're going to have a look at the profile of Joachim Winkelhock in just a moment.
In the form of a big impact. So I think it vindicates not just racing cars, but the beautiful strength of that BMW car in a crash condition.
And where the races meet the road, and those things learned in motor racing are passed on to the road cars.
It does have a follow-on, I'm sure.
Okay, look at the track now with Joachim Winkelhock. He's got the windscreen wiper going, but as you can see on the track, it is starting to dry.
What they'll be looking for now, if there's no more rain forecast, is that they'll be trying to find a fast line while still maintaining a damp line, because as David pointed out to you before, this is the shot from the Castrol BMW, the 3-sport car, is that they'll be looking for a wet line to try and keep these tyres as cool as they possibly can, because when they get hot, they break up, they're no good. You can see how quickly it's drying. There's still a lot of cars on the circuit there, and this particular surface at Wellington does dry out quite quickly.
This is the bumpy part of the circuit as they race down Cable Street. Joachim Winkelhock behind the wheel of the car, which has been so superb here over the last 3 years. Are they on target for a 4th win?
Acceleration into 10th cruise phase.
3-sport just checking out the action here with Jim Richards getting caught up in the traffic and missing the chicane at the end of Jervois Key, so that means he's...
Drive coming from Nigel Arkell and David Slater in the Porsche. They're running in 6th position at the moment, having completed 106 laps to Winkelhock and Emanuele Pirro's 115.
I put the car on pole. They led almost from start to finish. Mark Scaife got off to a screamer, but once the Nissan went into the pits, it's been the number 1 car, the 3-sport Castrol BMW M3 all the way, flashing the lights for victory. So Joachim Winkelhock, the lap of an exciting moment for the Schnitzer team, a fantastic record here over the last 4 years. They'll make it 4 in a row, which is absolutely unbelievable, and Emanuele Pirro will have 4 drives and 4 wins. And Joachim Winkelhock coming down for the great moment of the Nissan Mobil 500 for 1991. And Joachim Winkelhock down the main straight takes the checkered flag. It's 4 in a row.